What's up? It's Austin Black. I've been seeing a lot of tier lists lately, and I think that it's a disgrace that a tier list has not been made for cameras. So I'm gonna be the one that has the courage to make this video for this community. So alright, we're gonna get right into this. So let's start with my camera, the A7 Mark III, and I am going to drag this into the I'm gonna put it in the S tier. And now it may not have 10-bit, it may not have 4K 60. This camera is a really fantastic value, and in practical use, I think it's awesome. I love this camera. I have 3 of them. I've used them extensively. They are awesome cameras. So if you have a beef with that, you can fight with me. Next, we've got the Sony A7R. This is a neat little camera. It's got the flippy screen. I kind of think flippy screens are a little bit overrated. I'm gonna put this in the B tier. This is a pretty nice camera, but it's really not that special. I had the A6500 and it was like a little I'm not a big fan of that body style. Next, we've got the 5D Mark IV. Oh, come on, guys. This is a clear E tier for me. The 5D Mark IV was a pretty crappy camera when it came out. They like immediately put it on sale for like $500 off. It was just kind of a terrible update. They had a crazy crop in 4K. It does a motion JPEG codec, which sucks. So E tier, easy E tier for me on that one. Okay, we got a Nikon Z6 right here. I think the Z6 is a pretty cool camera. I think I'm gonna put this in the A tier. It's got ProRes RAW. It's a goofy looking camera. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really goofy looking camera, but that ProRes RAW with the Atmos Ninja 5 is pretty nice, I will say. Okay, Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. So first off, I've got a little bit of a beef with this camera. Everybody says, oh, it's the best camera for $1,300. It's the best camera for $1,400. There's no way you're gonna get this thing working for $1,300. You're spending $3 grand minimum to get a working camera. Let's just be honest with that. You're spending $3 grand minimum. And what's up with these batteries? The batteries are a joke. So I'm gonna put this in the I'm a C plus on this one. I'm a C plus. I want to put it in the B tier. I like this camera. I think the quality is pretty good. It's got the dual native ISOs, but it's a C plus for me. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, okay. We got another Blackmagic here. We've got the Ursa Mini 4.6K. So this camera can do a lot of stuff. I've used a previous version of the Ursa Mini. The one thing I just find is weird is just Blackmagic cameras in general are really strange to work with. But I'm gonna put this in the B tier because it's a good camera and it at least knows what it is. It knows it's an expensive camera. Ooh, here we go. Fuji Xt3. I am just gonna say this camera is S tier. S tier. Fuji Xt3 is a great camera. 4K 60, 10-bit. They got rid of the stupid FAT32 formatting on the files, so you can have files larger than 4 gigs, which is nice. It's just a great, I mean, it's like, this camera really is $1,300 and you just buy a lens and you're ready to start shooting with it. I think that this camera is super cool. It's got great ergonomics. The dials are awesome. I wish I owned one, so S tier for sure. Here we go. We got a Canon C200. So I think you're gonna see a lot of Canon hate on this, but the C200, and I hate the C100, honestly. I've used the C100 and I'm not a big fan, but the C200 is a pretty solid camera. It's got some solid specs. It is pricey, but I'm gonna put that in the B tier. I think that's a pretty good camera. The EOS R. Okay. Well, it's basically the 5D Mark IV, but it was released recently. So it's like an old camera repackaged in a mirrorless body. I really don't think this camera has much going for it. It's got the same atrocious crop in 4K as the 5D4, so it's an E tier, easy E tier for me. Sony A7R III. You know, it's a better camera than the A7 III, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if you really need the megapixels, and it didn't get the real-time tracking and the firmware update, so it's gonna be C tier for me. It doesn't really have any bomb video features, so it's gonna be C tier for me. I'm just not feeling the value there. Alright, so we got the Nikon D80. So this is like it's like a pro camera, right? This is like what every pro would use if you're doing wildlife, sports, or weddings. It's so professional looking. We're just gonna slide this on into the B tier just because of all those pros out there. Oh, here we go. We got the Leica Q2. And I really don't know why I put this on here. This is a $5,000 camera with about $3,000 of features, and it seems pretty pretentious to me. They have a Maestro image processor. I'm gonna put this in the E tier because I'm not gonna pay $2,000 for a little red badge on a camera. Just not gonna do it. So here we go. GH5. This is gonna be controversial. You can direct the hate mail towards my P.O. box, but I am going to put it in the C tier. I'm going to put it in the C tier. One thing I didn't mention with the Blackmagic is I'm not a big fan of Micro Four Thirds. You say that you could get a speed booster, but I don't play that way. I don't play that way with a speed booster. I like the real thing. I like the real full frame. And I'll tell you, I've got the S1 right here. I'm gonna put this in the A tier with the Nikon Z6. I think this is a solid camera. It's got 4K 60. It's got lots of good features. Full frame, low light, and I love that they went with a professional, larger body. One thing I hate about mirrorless is everyone's like, oh, it's a small body. It's a small camera. You could like travel with it. But honestly, as a professional, I really like having the big, beefy camera body, to be honest. Let's grab this one, GoPro. I'm gonna put the GoPro in the D tier. It's not offensive to me necessarily, but I think that the CEO seems like kind of a douche. He did like an interview on this GoPro and he was like, you don't even need gimbals. I don't know why anyone would even use a gimbal because we got digital stabilization on this camera. So I felt like that interview was kind of douchey, so I'm gonna put it in the D tier. And I mean, I've never been a huge fan of GoPros for whatever reason. I like the new Sony action camera. So here we go. We've got the Canon Rebel T7. This is like the certified, this is my first camera. And I don't know why people would still be spending $600 or $700 on these cameras because it's old technology, it's out of date. You can get something that shoots 4K, you can get something way cooler, like an X-T3 for just a few hundred more. So, you know what? Your time is up, Canon Rebel. I'm putting you in the F tier where you belong. So here we go. We've got the Panasonic D Vx 200. This camera, I used it in college actually, and it looks really goofy. It looks really stupid to me, but it does shoot 4K 60, which is kind of cool. It's got a fixed lens, but it's too goofy looking. So this is a D tier. I'm gonna make it smaller, and I'm just gonna slide this into the D tier right here. Why is this Canon EOS R is like huge. Here we go. Let's make this a little bit smaller. All right, last one, the chosen one, the supposed budget full frame king of mirrorless, the EOS RP. This camera is garbage. It's garbage. It's F tier. It's F tier garbage. Yeah, they took out 24p and 1080. They've got an atrocious crop in 4K, like every Canon camera. No dual pixel autofocus in 4K. So basically, you're kind of screwed no matter what you do because it's just, it's not a good camera. They just withheld features just because they felt like it. So that's it. I'm probably one of the few that has the courage to make a list like this. If you have a beef with me, if you're a GH5 guy and you've got beef here, why don't you make your own video? I'd love to watch it. We'll see it. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.